Good afternoon again, everyone. It seemed I forgot to make some announcements that I think are extremely important in moving forward on our objective and encouraging you to help fix your own country, our country. And one of the things I should have mentioned in the other video, and I noticed that most of my videos that have been posted are long videos because they have to be detailed. If you're looking for a quick fix, I can't give information that's slapdash and doesn't deliver what you need to understand what's going on. So if you can't watch the whole video in one shot, then break it up, go back to it. But the important thing is for you to fully comprehend what's going on and take action. And why you need to take action. You have to get the information, and it's time is up on us, obviously, but we can't condense 18 years of court action and criminal action on the part of these people to half an hour, which is what some people are saying, half an hour. It's not realistic. And I'd rather have educated persons who are familiar with what we're doing because they understand what we're doing by looking at the information. It's no good. As I say, I'm not here to just ride the wave of dissent that's going out there now about corruption because of what happened to Mr. Bolt. We've been fighting this battle for years. I'm here to say to you, again, get the information firstly, then participate, because that's how you're going to fix this country for you and your generations to come. All right, so bear with me on that. So I forgot to remind persons that the channel that these videos are on is the theme is scamming billions in Jamaica. So scamming billions in Jamaica. I mean, I hated the whole terminology, but I figured that would deliver and go straight to the point we're trying to make. That there are people here scamming individuals that amounts to billions of dollars in Jamaica, we being a primary target and victim. And so we thought it was appropriate to use that for now. When we get this resolved, we will transition to a more progressive channel which will deal with our developments and projects which we intend to pursue quickly, and as soon as we settle these matters that are outstanding with the courts. So the channel again is scamming billions in Jamaica, so remember that. And my name is Anthony Tharp. We are offering, and this is important, we are offering from the profits from our developments that will commence once we finally rid ourselves of the holdups in the court. And though we could technically move on some of our projects, now we wanted to get rid of all this negativity around the projects, because in developing funding or even sales of our projects, we don't want to have this negative outstanding issue or issues in front of us or in front of our future clients. So we intended to start moving in January. However, we figure we'll wait a little more since we have some dates coming up in March to commence on moving forward on the developments. Obviously, if these persons decide to do the right thing and legal thing and honest thing and stop making their fraudulent representations before, that will be a great aid to us moving quickly and forward. So we're tying a reward of $1 million US from our profits from those developments to anybody that acts as a whistleblower in the courts and bring evidence and information forward about who's hiding what in the court. And it's not just about our claim or our case. Who's hiding the records in the court? Who's deleting stuff from the files? Why are our matters not being set, and who is preventing our matters from being set? And get the evidence that we need to take to the DPP's office so they could prosecute them for fraud. So we are prepared to pay $1 million US for that. I think that's 156 million Jamaican dollars. And we're doing it in US because we want to have the figure to compete with inflation. So whenever you do get those results and we get the conviction, then that comes to you, and it could be one or two persons working together within the courts or outside the court or the fraud squad. This is not a bribe or anything to anybody. We are saying we are prepared to give a reward for anybody providing the necessary information and work that's needed to produce the documents for the DPP's office. So this is a legitimate payment for services that's going to help us to stop crime in Jamaica. No different from you asking somebody, you say you're going to pay a reward for information about persons who committed XYZ crime, because we said this is a crime. There's a further commitment on our part from our profits, from our developments of $5 million that's designed to fight and restructure the issues in the court that contributes to corruption. And we mentioned a few things in the previous video, number 6. Now this is number 7. And we also mentioned some standards or that we could be implementing to eliminate or reduce corruption in the court, especially amongst the judges and the officers of the court, the clerks that work there. So we're committing $5 million to that as well. We're attempting to develop strategies that identify the corruption within the judiciary and having it solved, because it affects the economy. You can see if these persons, the actions they took, they literally affected or put on hold Jamaica's largest proposed development in this country. As we said before, 125-story mega structure, a luxury hotel condominium with a 14 million square feet mixed-use commercial retail center with infrastructure including attractions that would serve the entire tourism industry on the North Coast, but more specifically hotels and businesses in and around the Montego Bay, Hanover, Westmoreland, and even Ocho Rios areas. So their actions taken against us stopped all of that from happening, and they stopped it from 2008. I mean, we got our permits in 2008. From 2010 they started all of this, and we won the cases, and yet we're still stuck and we can't move forward on our projects because of that. And as I said before, when you're dealing with major projects like this, financing is important, and no financier, funding source, or funding partners, or prospective purchasers or tenants of the property are going to be enthused to participate if we don't get rid of this. So these people are holding up one of the major infrastructure or developments in this country that could bring this country over the rim of poverty and put us on a path of success in terms of economic success. So hence you need to participate. We want to remind you that this is being held up by a very small group of people. Criminals aren't typically a whole bunch of people. It's typically a few small number of people who instigate the crime and intimidate the rest of the persons so that they're scared to get involved. You can get involved with this without even putting your face out in public. Our names are out there. The court is there. We have the facts in there, and we're saying if you're in the court or you're in the police force, the fraud squad, take advantage of this. I'm pretty sure you could use $156 million towards your retirement, right? So, and aid the country to get an additional $5 million to work on infrastructure that will solve all this problem that we're encountering. All right, so again, thank you. We're encouraging you to act, not just listen to the video and get hyped up, and act. Invite your friends, your family, your church, talk to your pastors, because as I said, my whole thing was I'd expected the church to be a strong advocate for fighting these things and fighting what's going on with us. But like the press, the Jamaican press, which you must all stop spending your money with. Stop spending your money with them because they're sabotaging the Jamaican the people and the economy with their ill-advised attitude of not wanting to carry the news with the excuse about being sued. It's either you're a journalist or you're not. And you can't be sued if somebody else is producing evidence and proof. The truth. There's no suit. And if somebody sues you, then you take them to court and take them to task. That's what the press does. Without a press, we have nobody to protect the nation. Because we can rely on the government. Because you're the watchdogs for the government against, corruption in government. All right? So, again, thank you. Encouraging all social clubs and organizations, JCs. Does the JCs still exist? I don't even know. I used to be connected with them. Kiwan is Circle K. My father was a part of the what's that other one? Anyway, all those organizations that are in this country, you need to participate. And one of the big things we want to announce is that law schools in Jamaica should look at what we're doing, look at the videos, and participate. All the students who are going to law school and all the professors and deans of the law school in the universities should take a serious look at what we're doing. Go read those videos and review them, because I'm pretty sure at some point this whole episode in our lives that we have to deal with the court will become part of your curriculum. This will be a good matter to study, because it does deliver the whole concept of international law, sovereignty, concurrency of jurisdiction, corruption of the court's rules, constitutional violations, and what the court must adhere to. And one of the most important things, our sovereignty as a court system, as a judicial system, will have to come out of movements like this that emphasize that if we are to be truly an independent country with our own judiciary, then and citizens are to have the confidence in our own judiciary that we can trust you, then you have to be a part of any solution that comes to the forefront, because you're going to be taking out all them bad attorneys, the students, the law schools. You're going to develop ethical rules that must be followed, and if they're not followed, with consequences. You have to look at the rules in the court and remove the ambiguities, for a number of reasons. Because when rules have ambiguities, and I have noticed that the court rules have quite a few, like there's a rule and then it says, oh well, the judge is exempt from this rule, he can make another decision. Now if it's a rule and it's a right, the judge must adhere to it, and that's what you do. You can have rules that are flexible because a judge has the power to just disregard it. Rules must be adhered to. That's how we have a system in place that works, because when a litigant enters court, it means that they know what they're going to be doing, can do, and will experience from the other side, and the bench itself. You can't have a judge going and at him whims and fancy, and if him have a belly ache or him hungry, him make a decision that serves his purpose and ruins the entire judicial process. So the schools, the courts must step up and go through the rules and remove the ambiguities, and also put in place that when a rule is made and it's agreed to, that it's followed. We've been dealing with this matter, and as I said, the court rules in our favor, and then we go to another hearing to deal with our damages, and here comes a judge and another party claiming, they withdraw our damages, our property, or some other rule that continues a claim that's been dismissed, which is what's going on, which is ridiculous and criminal in itself. So in short, the law schools should get involved. And again, we're providing $5 million to deal with the judiciary. And I'm pretty sure if we organize ourselves, we can come up with resources that will foster training for future judges and attorneys that adhere to good standards, like everything else. Again, and one of the things I'm advocating is that like every other enterprise, the court must be run like a business with a management team, experience in management. The thing about management is, it's a principle. Good management practices work across the board in every industry, and leave the legal management side to the judges, to the Chief Justice, but run the court like a business so that the management can find out what's going on down there, and legitimately come up with policy that prevents a lot of the clashes that's going to occur if they're not fixed. Because nobody is going to sit around and allow their lives to be taken 15, 16 years of their life. I remember this gentleman that had the bus company. I was working a conglomerate of buses. And the poor guy, it is said, passed without the matter being settled, because the same thing that happened to him is what's happening to us. You have some corrupt lawyers and corrupt judges who drag the man's business out until he couldn't survive. And it does have effects on us. We have lost partners who sat around, and I remember one particular partner said to me, "Anthony, are we ever going to get this matter settled? Are these matters settled?" So again, it's up to Jamaica to fix your problem, our problems. If we don't fix it, nobody else is going to do it. And if we want a better country, a more advanced country, a country that advances beyond where we are now, and we can step into the space age, we have to become more sophisticated and allow that sophistication to help us to develop policy and programs that prevent corruption. Because if you don't do that, then guess what? We will be ending up regressing, and before you know it, we're back into a period where we have dictators and slave owners over us. And I don't think it can happen, because slavery is in Asia right now, is in Africa, parts of Africa. Go on the internet and do the search. You see a whole bunch of people locked up in cages that's being forced to work in bush planting, doing all kind of stuff, and being sold. So this is real. You're not too far from it. And if we allow ourselves to be led down that path, we won't come back for a good while, if ever again. We don't have any Maroons again up in the hills, because the ones that are there are so depleted, and they've forgotten their culture and what they stand for, that we can rely on them to have places to run the hide again. All right, so thank you. And again, we look forward to hearing from you. Make your comments, come up with solutions, write, make your own petitions, file it with government, call the ambassador. If you're in the US, call the ambassador, press them, go on the website there and put it out there. The diaspora organizations that's out there, pressure them. Every year they have these whole big meetings, and nothing comes of it. Because you can't have anything happening if you have corruption going on. So we're not into the glad rag thing or the glad feel good meeting thing and conferences, and nothing comes of it. People who want to see progress get frustrated when you have a whole bunch of people every year spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to sit down in a hotel and talk, and nothing happens. Alright? I don't know about you, but I am not for that. I don't have time to waste, so that's why a lot of the times I stop going to those places. Alright, so the organization I was trying to remember, which my father was a part of, is the Rotary Club. You need to all play a part in fixing this issue. Professional organization, from the various government entities, whether it's JPS, whether not government agencies, JPS is no longer, but fire brigade, the military, the police, nurses, teachers, you all have organizations that you need to speak up, because ultimately you have to end up in court at some point, and you don't want people selling you out, like what I used to hear about trade unionists, dishonest ones who used to go and make deals with businesses under the counter to sell out their workers. Now I hear that used to happen. It's alleged. Hopefully, it's not happening again. But these trade unions, you have the opportunity now to step up and stand up and help fight this issue. You can't just sit down and run up and down about you want to protect workers' rights when you have a group of people undermining the country's economy to billions and billions and billions of dollars that people can be able to get the kind of earnings to survive in a world that's inflation is killing us. So if you have the interests of your country at heart and you're an organization, a professional or business organization, then you need to step up and be a part of this fight. The what do you call it now, Chamber of Commerce, about business. Here's a group of people who have literally stopped major businesses from coming into this country. We're talking about 14 million square feet of commercial space, delivering a business and tourism product that would be superior to half of what's going on in the planet. And here you have people in the court, a small handful, and John Graham and Alexis Robinson and a few others, undermining this country's economy. And we just sit down and accept the fact that 2 or 3 people should be doing this? I don't think so. I think not. I think you need to realize how these people are affecting the entire country. The development alone in Montego Bay would have produced 6,500 jobs during the construction phase, which we estimate to be over a 2 to 3 year period. The long-term employment would be in the tune of 30 to 40,000 jobs. Plus, we had planned to have 4 fine arts festivals on the island, which we already started to negotiate and talk with people. We had one of the world's top casino operators to say they would come and help us to manage and set up casinos here. Alright, so I'm not a gambler, but just pointing out to you that there's so much being lost in this country because of very few people with their criminal activity. And if you want to sit around and be a Jamaican living your best lifestyle in your lifetime and your children to come, you need to participate, clean the courthouse, clean out these people, have them prosecuted so the others won't think they can just get the run of the court and do what they want to do. And it extends to the society in general, because knowing that you can come to court and you have corrupt judges and corrupt systems in place, people who commit crimes just find an attorney who will go in and take advantage of it. And the way money is hard to get here, attorneys are going to be tempted to do it. Not all attorneys have ethics and morals. The thing that gets them is as long as they're making $1 or $2. Alright, so thank you again and look forward to some aggressive participation. Let's end this early.